inside the Belvedere here, and today we are going to tackle the inside roof, which had some surface rust. Now I've treated some of it, as you can see how it's turned black and crusty in this area right here, but some of it, as you can see, is still brown, which means it didn't get treated enough. And I treated it with this stuff. Well, there's still a little bit more in here, but anyway, we're also going to see if I can't figure out how to take this piece right here off. Oh, yeah. I don't think I can. That is seam welded. But we're going to treat that too. Yeah, we need to look at that. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to handle this underside here. Now this, I believe, holds the headliner in place. So I'll probably try and remove that as well. So yeah, here we go. Start with these jokers right here. We can left hand unscrew these here. Looks like that one's good. All right. And then so I don't lose them, put these screws right back in there. So I've been spraying that rust converter, but then I ran out. So I'm pick you up here. I just, yes, son? This bad boy off. Now I get to try my handy dandy phosphoric acid based rust cutter, which I like it very much, but I'll come back to that. All right, so here is this stuff. I really stand by it. It really works, and it works really well. However, for this 1 quart, it's $25. This stuff, Home Depot, I can only get this either online or at Tractor Supply. This stuff's at Home Depot, exact same ingredient, exact same stuff, 1 gallon, $21. So from now on, when you see me using this, it's actually going to be this. Go ahead and I can do this one-handed here. So, like I said, I frequently use AI. AI says not to dilute it. Well, check this out. Hang on. It seems pretty strong because it's immediately reacting to that rust. But all right, here's how we're going to be using it today, so it doesn't become airborne. We're just going to kind of brush it on. And we're gonna apply it that way. And I'll check back in a few minutes. Okay, so after getting acid splashed in my eye, safety goggles, gloves. Okay, there she is, 100% treated. Everything's almost already completely turned black. It hasn't, it's on its way. So yeah, next step, neutralize with baking soda, quick dry, primer, and then maybe paint, maybe not, because I'm gonna have some kind of a headliner at some point. So yeah, there's the underside of the roof treated. Well, I screwed up. So perhaps you may have noticed in that video. Perhaps not. Maybe you're like me. So concrete prep has phosphoric acid, same ingredient as rust cutter. Concrete etch, or at least the brand I bought, is hydrochloric acid. Yay! So that's what I applied to the undercoating of the car. So I, within an hour, wiped it down with baking soda and water, hopefully neutralizing it, and then I'll come back tomorrow and assess the damage. Hopefully, since it was still mostly painted and there was just some minor surface rust forming in places, and I had already kind of treated that with phosphoric acid, I'm hoping it'll just flash rust. The main thing is to make sure I got it all out of the seams, which I got as good as I could. But yeah, gotta live and learn. I went ahead and could have edited all that out, but I thought, well, that's not honest. This is an honest journey, and kind of learning as I go and going as I learn. So yeah, let's see what the damage was. All right, perusing the damage. Yeah. There's definitely some damage, as you can see. So I got some work to do. But, I mean, I took the other back seat out, by the way. It's not horrible, but I definitely did some damage. So, time to get to work. Okay, so now that we know we're dealing with hydrochloric acid, even though I did the best I could to neutralize it, we're wearing the appropriate safety gear, as we should have been in the first place. So, what I'm just gonna do is just take this Scotch-Brite pad and just go like this along the entire surface. Everywhere where I touched that acid, just need to scuff it up. So when I'm through with that, we'll come back. Okay, here it is, all scuffed with Scotch-Brite and then wiped clean with rubbing alcohol. Doesn't look as bad as I originally was afraid. I just need to be sure and get all of that rust cutter down in these groovy little spots right here. Believe it or not, that is scuffed. But yeah. All right, next step is the actual phosphoric acid treatment, not hydrochloric acid. Okay, so for future reference, concrete etch has hydrochloric acid in it. You do not want to put hydrochloric acid on metal. Concrete metal prep has phosphoric acid. See, removes rust from metal. So from now on, when you see me using this, it'll actually have, it's the same chemical, but it'll have this brand in it, because $24 plus tax, $18 plus tax for 1 gallon. A lot better deal. So now I get to undo the horror that this caused, because I didn't follow through, listened just solely to AI, and that's basically the hidden message here. AI can be very helpful, but it can lead you astray very quickly. Do your homework, read the labels, double check. All right. Here are all these little crevices. Let's concentrate on the roof right now. Sorry about my filming. It's kind of hard to do. You get the gist of it. I'll do the whole thing, and then afterwards I'll be sure and spray it with the bottle so it gets all down, all up and behind there, and all back around in those areas back in there, and we'll come back with the results. Okay, she's all taped up, no more orange rust, all cured up, dry. Everything's taped that I don't want to get paint on. So now we're gonna go ahead and paint, or primer, I mean. Another fun fact, you don't have any clothes to paint in. You don't want to, most people have stuff that they don't care if they ruin, but I'm running kind of low. So put the shirt you want to save on backwards. Now obviously you don't want to use a nice shirt, but yeah, the shirt you don't want to paint all over, just put it on inside out and keep it from getting paint on it. All right, so after so much messing up and mistakes I've made on the underside of this hood, applying the hydrochloric acid, all that stuff, I'm too afraid to not do this right. So I'm going to do a base coat of the 2K primer, which is the good stuff, the barrier protection, at least around the seams and those crevices and stuff. And I'll finish the rest off on the underside of the roof, and then I'll follow that up with 1K primer and then a top coat of automotive paint. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm not gonna be able to film too much of this because I'm using my phone, and this will get all over my phone, but I'll start it off anyway. Okay, there's my dust coat. Not pretty, but I got real good up in those seams. I'll let that flash off, and then we'll do the 1K on top of that. All right, there she is. All finished up. Again, not going for perfection, just going to protect the metal. And I chose that color because I bought it. I wanted to see what it looked like on the car. And since I'm eventually gonna have a headlighter anyway, I figured it didn't matter. So I have to see what it looks like when it dries, but I kind of like the color. It's kind of dark, menacing. But anyway, there it is. Acid problem addressed, corrected, and rust prevention executed. This is, by the way, I use the 2K primer, but still technically a Rust-Oleum paint job. So we got the hood and the underside hood, all Rust-Oleumed up. Okay, so as I said earlier, I used AI to rebuild my Classic. By AI, I meant ChatGPT specifically, and then sometimes Google. And like I said before, you gotta be careful because sometimes they'll give you just flat out wrong information. And what I did to the underside of the roof of the car is a good example of that. So let's see what it says, just out of curiosity. Again, the responsibility is on me. It was my fault for not double checking, but let's just to show you how it can go down. So you do realize that you are the one who told me to buy the product that ended up actually being hydrochloric acid instead of phosphoric acid.
Oof, I do remember that mix-up, and I can imagine how frustrating that was for you. I'm glad we caught it before things got worse. Honestly, nobody wants surprise acid adventures on their car. I'm here to help you avoid any repeat of that chaos.
So my point is, yes, use the internet, of course. Use AI. AI can be a very, very valuable tool, very good resource, but always double check anything that it tells you, because I almost ruined my car.